Hello everybody and welcome to the second episode of Lazio Lounge. I'm the one and only Vittorio Campanile. With me, unfortunately, the only journalist available today, Alasdair Mackenzie. Hello, how are you?
What a fantastic introduction. I'm doing very well. The sun's shining even in Scotland, and I've been quite excited all week to do this after the success of the first one, which I think surprised both of us. All the great feedback we've had from people has been really very nice.
Absolutely. We want to thank you all, people that following us on Twitter, put the like on Facebook, hear the podcast, download it from iTunes, the people that ask questions on Twitter, the people that vote our polls on Twitter and Facebook. Really amazing. We are really happy and we hope that more and more people will follow us in the next episodes.
Yeah, and like we said last week as well, all the feedback we get is appreciated. And so if there's anything you want us to talk about, any changes, anything you like or don't like, then let us know. And spread the word too. If you know other Lazio fans, then let them know, and we'll get everyone involved. We've had as well a few people talking about wanting to come on the show already, which is great, and we're gonna try and get that off the ground as soon as we can as well. So we'll be in touch with people soon enough to try and get that going too.
Yes, one of the poll was saying they prefer 30 minutes. So let's speed up and start immediately with the season review. What was the first one? The player of the season. Not a big surprise here, right?
Player of the season, Ciro Immobile has won the vote, 58%. Milinkovic-Savic on 38, Keita with 4. We also had people mentioning Felipe Anderson and Lucas Biglia as well as contenders, but for me, no argument here. Actually, Ciro Immobile came in after having had difficult experiences in Germany and Spain. A lot of pressure on him, actually, at the start of the season. You would have thought to actually come back into Serie A and prove that he still is that player that we saw at Torino doing so well. And he's come in, he's scored 23 goals, which is an absolutely phenomenal return. And actually, the success Lazio have had this season, I think, wouldn't have been achieved without him. He's been that important to this team. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Immobile was the player that was missing with Lazio. It's true that Miro Klose is an incredible striker, but he never scored that many goals for Lazio for various reasons. So Immobile was the perfect signing. I agree. Player of the year, even though for me Milinkovic-Savic is the star. He showed that he has an incredible talent, and for me he's going to be one of the best players of Lazio ever if he stays. So I honestly voted Milinkovic-Savic, but I totally agree on Ciro Immobile.
Yeah. I mean, Milinkovic-Savic, we'll get onto him actually because he's won a different poll, but he's also had a fantastic season. I just think that Immobile, the impact he's made has been so impressive, the amount of goals he scored, and actually the dependence on him, really, if you consider what could have happened if he'd gone out injured and we had been left with Filip Djordjevic to fill that role or whoever else was available. He's made himself an indispensable part of the team almost immediately and got himself back into the Italy team, and yeah, credit to him. Fantastic season.
Absolutely, even because Djordjevic has been voted the flop of the season for us, right? So this tells a lot of things.
Well, funnily enough, the flop of the season poll has ended in a draw. We've had equal votes for Djordjevic and Ravel Morrison, who got 35% each. Moritz Leitner got 22, Cataldi got 8. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be down to us, I suppose, to decide who wins this award. No one's going to want it, but for me, I did vote for Djordjevic, and the reason is really that just simply the fact that he's been given opportunities, and he's not started a lot of games for Lazio, but he has had 17 appearances in Serie A, and failing to score a single goal with that many minutes on the pitch is pretty pathetic, really, for a centre forward, and it's kind of frustrating as well when you look back on the impact he made when he first started. Went on a great run of form, scored a lot of goals, he got himself in the right positions, He was never a guy who was going to score 30-yard wonder strikes, although he almost did in the Cup Italia final, I suppose, when he hit the post.
Yeah.
But he was just always in the right position, got himself on the end of chances. He looked really good, and he's just never really recovered from those injury problems that he picked up. And I think you can talk about Ravel Morrison if you like. I believe he got your vote.
Yes, I think Djordjevic, after the injury he had in the first year with the AC Milan, he never recovered. He never played again like he did before. So that's why he performed that bad. I vote for Ravel Morrison because he came to Lazio and looked to be a surprising signing, the player that changed the team. But he never did it. He didn't play with Pioli. I thought with Inzaghi he had the chance, but no, he didn't even start with the squad. So that was really, really disappointed. And the bad thing is he came back in the UK and played bad even there. That's why he's coming back. So I voted for Morrison. But if you have to take all the season, then probably Djordjevic is the right vote because he stayed for Lazio all year long. Someone said it wasn't fair to put Cataldi in this lot because he didn't have enough chances. I don't agree. He had it till January and then he preferred to leave the team and go to Genoa where he would have more playtime, which didn't really happen. So I think Djordjevic deserved this trophy.
Yeah, okay. Djordjevic has won the crown whether he likes it or not. The next poll was the most improved player, and this one was fairly clear winner for Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, 59%. The other options, Keita had 31, Wesley Hoot had 8, who we talked about last week, and Patrick 2. I think this is very difficult to argue with, especially when you consider, Vittorio, that he was your overall player of the season. But he when he first arrived at the club and we'd spent a lot of money on him, obviously he was highly valued, highly rated, and almost ended up at Fiorentina. But that looks like being one of the best deals we made for a while to get him through. But for me, he wins most improved player because although we saw flashes of his ability last season, he never really became that important a part of the team, whereas this season he's been sensational. He's been one of our best players. And so he has. I think we've seen more improvement from him than from anyone else.
I think last year he paid the fact that the team didn't play well, and so he couldn't shine as bright as he really is. I think he played well even last year, but this season, I vote for him, for example. This season, he was terrific. And the fact that the team played well even more made him shine. He's a great player. I think, honestly, he's the only really champion Lazio have. And he's gonna have a really bright future. I hope he stays with Lazio at least another couple of years. But yeah, this season Milinkovic. And he played in different positions this season. And he showed that he can really play everywhere. Two things on Hud and Patrick, because both of them improve a lot this year with Simone Inzaghi. Hud nearly played every match and he really performed well. And Patrick, from the mystery of the first year where he hardly played ever, he started playing much more and proved that he can play in Serie A. So he's going to become useful next year as well.
Yeah, and Keita as well. I mean, he's unlucky, I suppose, in this poll in that Milinkovic-Savic has been so brilliant. But I mean, Keita's a fantastic season as well, and he was a player I've always rated very highly. But the thing that frustrated me a lot was that he had the pace and the ability and the trickery and so on, that he would always find himself in fantastic positions, but his composure let him down far too often. And he didn't score enough goals for me, didn't create enough, and made the wrong decisions at vital moments. But this season, that side of his game has improved a lot, which you can see by how many goals he scored. I'd say it's still not been a perfect season from him. We've not had him playing at that level consistently throughout the whole campaign. So I'm hoping if somehow he does stay at Lazio next season that we get that level from him for the entirety.
Yeah, I think the last 2 months was terrific. He played really, really well. But the other part of the season, he had highs and lows, and that's why Milinkovic-Savic was a better option. What about the game of the season?
Yeah, game of the season is well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because we've decided that we disagree with the people. So sorry about that, people. Roma, I mean, it's a brilliant situation to be in, because the game of the season, we have 2 Rome derby wins to choose from, which unsurprisingly have dominated this poll. So the Roma 1 Lazio 3 game, the Serie A match, that's won by quite a lot here. It's got 70% of votes, with the 2-0 game in the Coppa Italia first leg with 24. The other options were the 4-3 game against Atalanta and the 7-3 game against Sampdoria, which were just fantastically entertaining, but they weren't Rome derbies. But yeah, I mean, we were speaking about this before. For me, the 2-0 game was the game of the season, because I think it was the most complete performance Lazio really put in this season. They were just so well organised, dangerous going forward, but defended very well. Inzaghi got this tactically spot on, and also just the timing of it, because it came at a point where the club were being really heavily criticised for not being able to perform in the big games, and so this was a really pivotal moment of the season for them to bring out such an impressive win under big pressure. And so it was a really key moment of the season for me, and that's why I think that is the game of the season.
I thought it was the turning point of the season for Lazio. That victory changed everything. And it's not a surprise that from that match, Lazio played much better. I think compared to the other derby that Lazio won, this was much clearer. Lazio dominated that match. Roma had chances at the beginning and at the end of the match, but after that, it was Lazio dominating. And probably it could have finished 3-0 as well. While in the derby, Lazio won 3-1. It was much closer. Roma had better chances and could have won it, and Lazio took the chances and scored. So, and it was the first time that Inzaghi proved to be a great tactician. He won the match against Spalletti there with nice option. First time that he played the derby with the 3-5-2, surprising completely Spalletti with the Lukaku placement that probably was the key of that match. So I think that match was the turning point of the season. I don't know if you agree. The fact that probably didn't won it, it's because it was in Coppa Italia, so people maybe trust more or think it's more important the Serie A. But during the season, I think that was the match that changed everything. And from there, Lazio started playing much, much better, more confident. The player, the squad, finally understood that they were able to beat bigger teams and win important match that didn't happen before. Didn't happen with Simone Inzaghi, but didn't happen even with Stefano Pioli. So probably that's the turning point, and that one of the key of Simone Inzaghi's season, why Lazio played so well, because he convinced his players that they can perform really, really well in key matches like that one.
I think turning point is the best way of putting it, isn't it? I think that win is helped Lazio then go on to win the derby in Serie A, and I think without it, it might have gone differently. The game that everyone's voted for here, the 3-1 game, because like you're saying, it instills such belief, doesn't it? If you've managed to perform that well against your greatest rivals, you go into the next game knowing you can do it again and feeling more confident. So there we go. So sorry everyone, we're gonna make this decision. Yeah, overruled. It's our show. We can do what we want.
The other one is the signing of the season. I think here there is really no discussion. Ciro Immobile win it. 98% of the voters vote for Ciro. Ciruzzo, as someone calls him.
Yeah, 98%. The other options were Jordan Lukaku, Bastos and Wallace. Lukaku did get the other 2% himself. Yeah, I mean, we've just spoken about Immobile in terms of being the player of the season, and more or less the same reasons, I suppose. But in terms of it as a signing, I just think it was the perfect move at the right time in terms of him having a point to prove coming back to Italy. I think it was the right club for him. He had the right manager, and it's proven to be a fantastic piece of business. And